On December 15th, 2015, Sony revealed that Kojima is going independent with a partnership including Sony. Almost 4 years later, we'll see the product of that coming out to PlayStation 4. Knowing that it still took lots of time to hire all the people necessary, looking for the right game engine and visiting lots of different studios to find that game engine he wants to use, it's quite astonishing that the making of Death Stranding only took 4 years overall, probably much less time even being in active production. It clearly shows that Hideo Kojima, with his experience in game development for over 30 years, shows how good he is in envisioning the world and story he wants to create, bundled up with good gameplay that he likes to utilize and appearances from famous people, actors and friends. But how will the game be received when it finally launches? Will Hideo Kojima still be worthy of the high pedestal that so many people put him on since the launch of Metal Gear Solid in the 90s? Let's dissect that story that has shaped this event in gaming history to be coming together in a single point in time. A story of drama, creators' dreams, frustrations, and the eventual split from his home base with Konami after decades of working there. How did this story continue? And will Death Stranding prove once and for all that Hideo Kojima can still deliver greatness without Konami? Or even more important, without Metal Gear Solid.
You see this? Diamond Dogs. Our new home. Kept you waiting, huh?
How the breakup between Konami and Hideo Kojima happened was quite a story in 2015, leading up to his departure from the company and announcing that he will be actually doing his own studio. But how did that happen? Let's go back in time in this part 1 of the Importance of Death Stranding video for Hideo Kojima, the history of 2015. March 15th, 2015. Konami removes all mentions of Hideo Kojima from coming and running promotional artworks of Koji Pro games like Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes and Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. And yes, even from the 2012 Legacy Collection, his name was seen to be removed. March 16th, Kojima himself posts a mysterious tweet, The Phantom Pain, which is slated to come out September 1st that same year, captioning it with heading off. A possible connection to him not being listed as executive officer on a list which was released March 4th of 2015 was quickly drawn. The rumor started to spread. Hideo Kojima and Konami are preparing to break up. March 19th. The Kojima Pro Live Twitter moves over to MetalGear_.en handle. Power struggles between Kojima Productions and Konami have convinced the publisher to make drastic changes, after all, including amending the employee status of its Metal Gear team. Some senior staff at the studio, including Kojima, now essentially work as contractors and not permanent employees. The extraordinary measures were revealed by a source within Konami, speaking to GameSpot on the condition of anonymity. The person explained that once the Phantom Pain project is finished, in all likelihood the management at the studio will disband. In quote, after we finish Metal Gear Solid 5, Mr. Kojima and upper management will leave Konami. They said their contracts end in December. This is important. April 27th. George Wheatman, also known on his YouTube channel Super Bunny Hop, his analysis of the Koji Pro situation with inside sources that want to stay anonymous, telling of a bad working environment for the team, and that was formerly known as Kojima Productions, has now been renamed to Unit 8 instead. The CEO of Konami apparently dislikes Kojima heavily as he takes too much time and too much money to produce his games, whereas the mobile gaming sector offers much cheaper to produce products with much higher return of investment. The video got taken down actually by a copyright claim just 3 hours after release on behalf of one of the Konami lawyers, and YouTube themselves actually had to step in after a few hours of that happening and reinstate the good standing of the channel. Remember, if you have a copyright strike, it is different to a content ID flag. With 2 copyright strikes, your channel is almost impossible to action, and with 3, your channel will be deleted. So having one already on his channel, Super Bunny Hop of course was really threatened. The interesting reasoning for YouTube actually stepping in for the very first time for a YouTube creator was that Konami didn't provide enough information, and they simply just retracted that copyright strike. This led to a whole backlash that had many people in the industry and YouTubers and of course fans coming together to lash back against Konami for trying to prevent free speech and actual investigative journalism in the gaming industry. Of course, that outrage led to the even further widespread of the story inside the video and of what Konami allegedly does to the workers, according to rumors inside of the company based on anonymous sources. On the same day, officially Konami cancels Silent Hills, the collaboration of Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus, who strived to deliver a brand new entry in the Silent Hill series with these major writers, visionaries and of course actors like Norman Reedus, known from the Walking Dead series. Fans were shocked by this information as the playable teaser, or as it was released PT, which it actually stands for, was revealed, was a very good technical demo. It was one of the best looking games on the PlayStation 4 by that time, and over all things, it was also scary. Something that was very necessary, of course, for a Silent Hill game. So after all the back and forth of this summer happened, we saw new updates. August 3rd, 2015. A new report by Nikkei exposes and further states that the staff working at Konami, especially at the Kojima Productions division, is deeply unhappy, with internet restrictions being enforced and new employees suffering under highly stressful demands by getting little to no support, as the official company approval process takes too long to get started, and even an official company email address takes longer to approve than actually starting work within a week. Work computers and other necessary tools needed for work are unnecessarily complicated to get by, so the report of Nikkei states, and it was also confirmed independently by Jim Sterling in his Jimquisition show from other sources as well. Already, Konami does not stand well in many of the gamers' hearts out there. While they do hold the IPs of many beloved franchises, the company itself doesn't seem to be knowing what to do with them and doesn't seem to respect what these franchises actually stand for. But it does get worse. August 13th, Guillermo del Toro will never again get involved with video games. As in his own words, whatever he touches just comes undone. August 24th of 2015, 1 week before the Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain releases. Reviewers and media of The Phantom Pain were not just given a copy of the game for review purposes, they were actually specifically chosen and invited to play the game for 40 hours behind closed doors with a strict NDA about the time and date of when reviews can be published, and of course the review time block as well. Reports have it that reviewers needed to sprint through the massive game, which takes completionists around 120 hours, and even casual runs with the side missions mostly around 60 hours of playtime. Using tricks like easy modes and a special chicken hat which you can use in the game that makes it easier to evade situations once you were caught in that stealth game, led to the reviewers just being under stress and just rushing through the game. And of course the impressions based from that experience sort of tilted how the game was reviewed. At least it appeared to be like that. Luckily, the report actually came forth and we did actually get to know about these conditions from the public side. Nonetheless, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain releases on September 1st to extremely good scores. Some magazines even gave it a full 10 out of 10, which they rarely did, and overall, the game got really high praise from the critics. But on the other side, actually players and fans of the series that then played the game since then were really left scratching their heads. Again, longtime fan of the series and reporter Super Bunny Hop, aka George Wheatman, did 2 videos talking about the game. First was about 100%ing the entire game, which took him more than 120 hours, and then another video which actually dissects the story and does give his review impressions and opinion. And in this video he also states very clearly that he can't really see how all these 10 out of 10s were really deserved. So in the end, Konami did try their best to influence the reviewers as much as they could, of course, with these limitations that they gave them to get the best scores for The Phantom Pain. September 2nd. Only a day after the release, a video appears on YouTube showing a 51st episode. The 50 episodes that are inside of The Phantom Pain are actually part of the base game, but the 51st episode was actually just a video that was part of the collector's edition. So included in the Phantom Pain's Collector's Edition is a disc that contains a video with footage of what was the final stages of a final episode 51. The final conflict between Venom Snake, the main actor of that game, and Eli, one of the Les Enfants Terribles. Without this episode, the story indeed does not fully wrap up, and with it at least, the game would have made partially more sense in terms of how Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain actually does tie into its complete timeline. Surely enough, fans were yet again complaining and disappointed, rightfully so, as with this ending being fully realized, all that was left on The Phantom Pain was an ending that wasn't there. A truly Phantom Pain which surely wasn't planned out by Hideo Kojima himself in some sort of artsy postmodern twist like Metal Gear Solid's 2 actual character was. No, the ending was cut due to production running out of time and budget, further proving that Konami's heads were done with Kojima. His time it took to finish games and their own wish to move away from these big productions to smaller games that can be produced cheaper really came through with this move. 1.5 months later, on October 20th, Hideo Kojima officially left Konami for good. Being stuck in a non-compete clause with the old Konami contract, he's unable to travel and work on new projects for at least 2 another months. On the same day, Konami denies the allegations of having Kojima let go from the company, and they are declaring that Kojima is merely on vacation. Probably this was not a lie, as usually when vacation time was built up and not used, mostly employees are leaving earlier than the actual final day of work at the company. Though in this case, with 2 months prior to the contract being finally ended, it seems like Konami just wanted Kojima gone from the office grounds. And luckily, there was actually picture proof of Kojima's last day, because the actual Kojima production team, now renamed to just Unit 8, held actually a party for Kojima when he was let go, and that has actually been pictured and posted on the internet. A few weeks later, November 3rd, Konami officially confirms the closure of Kojima Production Studio in Los Angeles, one partner studio to Kojima Productions in Japan fully shut down. This was actually reported already in that leak that Super Bunny Hop did in April of this year, where it was thought about hundreds of people could lose their job, and now it came fully realized. 2015 has only a few weeks left, and yet still, Konami's not done yet. December 3rd. The annual Game Awards, hosted and created by Jeff Keighley, have multiple awards running, including 5 nominations for The Phantom Pain and 2 awards actually being given out for that game. Instead of Hideo Kojima, though, being able to attend his contractual duties left him in Japan unable to travel. For these reasons, Jeff Keighley actually took the stage to explain that this year, Hideo Kojima was supposed to have got the Industry Icon Award for this decade-long work in this industry. The amount of boos in general, displeasure about how Konami still treats their last prominent game creator, leaves many people to have the hashtag #FuckKonami trending yet again. But not all things are bad. With December almost being over, December 15th, finally Hideo Kojima's contractual obligations have lifted and the contract has ended. Sony Entertainment, in form of Andrew House, has released a video to quickly announce a brand new established studio, Kojima Productions. Punished Kojima enters the game developer scene as a free man and begins production on a new title, along with establishing and hiring for a new studio and finding the right tools to work with after Konami. That has been part 1, the story of 2015. I hope you liked the collection of what actually happened in this year in regards to Konami and Hideo Kojima, but that was not all that happened so far since then. In part 2, we will actually take a further look into how Konami progressed after Kojima left the company, how other franchises also suffered under the decision-making of Konami, and afterwards, in part 3, we'll actually take a look how Kojima did without Konami. So follow us and subscribe here to not miss the next part. I hope you liked it. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about it so far, and if you actually followed the story back when it happened in 2015. My name is Testis. This was The Importance of Death Stranding for Hideo Kojima, Part 1.